Hello and welcome back to View from the Top. For this edition, I've been talking to David Levin, who is the CEO of one of the world's largest education groups, McGraw-Hill Education. To get the full disclosure out of the way at the start, of course, that means that one of his most direct competitors is the Financial Times' current owner, Pearson plc. Now, perhaps the hottest political topic in the world of education at this moment in the US is the Common Core curriculum and the testing that goes with it. McGraw-Hill Education has made an interesting, very clear decision to exit that business. I started by asking him why.
Deliver summative testing, these big state-wide end of semester, end of term tests, requires a particular architecture which is very demanding. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of school children taking them simultaneously across the public internet. We've decided that we really want to focus on the learning, and it's supporting the pedagogy inside the content, inside the instructional materials that we thought was important. So we were essentially saying we couldn't support both platforms. We wanted to invest in making the learning better.
Okay, so this isn't a vote of no confidence or of fear about the very political issue now of the Common Core. It's about working out how best to invest in pedagogy, the relationship between teacher and pupil.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Common Core is a valid subject, but that wasn't the driver.
Okay, let's also talk about the textbook business. Obviously, traditionally, a very nice, easy business with nice fat margins, if you can get them. You're, as I understand it, are now beginning to start competing on price. Where do you see the textbook business moving? Where do you move?
It's different between K-12 and higher ed. Yeah. In higher ed, the era of the textbook is now over, and so we're ready for that. This year, we've taken our entire corpus and made it available in adaptive software to help the student learn faster and better.
Okay, so if the era of the textbook is over, what about the era of the conventional residential university course where students go to large lecture halls? We had great excitement about mass online courses, so-called MOOCs, a few years ago. Now there are some concerns about that. Where do you see that aspect of education moving?
Well, I'm a long-term bull on the ability to combine technology and learning, and I think MOOC 1.0 was sort of an interesting but not effective. MOOC 2 is going to be better. MOOC 3 will be better still. That doesn't compete with some of the social learning aspects and the benefits of socializing people and learning collectively. So I think we're going to be in a world which encompasses, frankly, both. And indeed, you know, the mix between online and distance and in person, it's all going to feel like a part of a continuum. You're going to do a bit of all of them. But
ultimately, it's a supplement to a traditional college education, or an addition to it, or part of ongoing professional education.
I think certainly there's going to be segments of the market which go online only, and I think some parts of the sort of tertiary education system are going to become about badges and credentials rather than degrees, and those can be focused and specialized and delivered online. Now, I don't think there's any threat to Harvard, which is, you know, that the residential experience, the 4-year school at the top end, is completely untouched. But for the broad spectrum of students, there are going to be other choices available.
Now, can we talk about international education? You've invested in various language schools, language courses, obviously great excitement to learn in English. Where are the opportunities outside of the US, and where are the opportunities outside of the English language?
Well, we've just invested in a really interesting little company called Busu, which does social learning, and it basically pairs learners who are in different natural languages. And we think that there's a tremendous opportunity there. There are 55 million people who've gone to that platform already. So I think that the role of English as a wonderful common lingua franca across the world is exciting and important, gives us an opportunity. But the ability to connect people socially underneath that really is a tremendous opportunity.
Okay, and one final question. You are at this moment owned by a private equity group. Obviously, private equity is growing more important, gaining supporters and gaining critics. What effect does it have on you in terms of your day-to-day job that you're managed by a private equity group rather than a public company?
Well, I think the important thing to realise here is that this is not a sort of one-size-fits-all. We're very fortunate. Apollo, in their engagement with McGraw-Hill Education, have been, frankly, a catalytic owner. you know, in a short period of time, we've had the resources to make a massive pivot in the business, and that's been a fantastic opportunity. But over long terms, the question is, how does a business access capital and make decisions? And there are great examples in the public market, and there are great examples as long-term private ownership. I don't think one is necessarily better than the other. What is true is that to make a rapid change, you need a clear mind and a strong investment thesis. And that's sometimes easier to effect in a private world.
Mr. Levin, are you ready to play long short?
Absolutely.
Common Core.
Long on the concept, not sure about the current execution.
MOOCs.
Long on the long term.
Private equity.
Long.
The dollar.
Long against everything.
Google in education.
Probably long.
Thank you very much indeed.